Hey y'all, how's it going? It's Sean from Ridesharing101.com. And in today's video log, I want to quickly discuss the weather with you. Yes, today's vlog is all about the weather. I am here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and the last 2 days in San Francisco, we had weather well into the 90s. And you can say it's a dry heat all you want. And this may mean nothing to those of you in places like Arizona or wherever, Death Valley, but that's really hot for San Francisco. We're used to, our summers are like, 65 and windy, and winters are like 58 and raining. That's kind of it. So when it gets into the 90s, we freak out and we don't know how to act. And this got me thinking, for those of you around the country and other places, how do you deal with the weather? If it's in the 90s, if it's in the hundreds and you're in Sacramento or Red Bluff, Redding, Chico, wherever, do you go out? Do you drive? Most of us need to make money. So do you drive no matter what? Or do you put certain limits on when and where you'll drive? What about those of you, let's say up in the Medford area, in Portland? When it's snowing or there's sleet, do you drive? A lot of times when the weather is bad, when it's really hot or snowing or crazy, there are often bonuses. There's either surge, whether it's a rate, whether it's a flat amount, depending on what part of the country and how Uber is doing it, or whatever platform you're driving on. So a lot of times people will be like, oh, it's raining, I'm going to drive, even though I don't like driving in the rain. For instance, right now it's hot. You can't really tell, but I'm sweating because when I do the videos, when I have the air conditioning going, there's a background noise and it doesn't make for good sound quality. So, even right now in this truck, I just got in, set up the video, set up my camera, and I'm already like dripping sweat. So, and I thought, normally I don't offer any kind of water or any kind of snacks because people expect that, and then when you don't get it, if the driver before you has given them mints and gum and all this other stuff, they expect you to do it, and if you don't have it, they'll give you a bad rating. Okay, I basically am just providing a safe experience for somebody, a safe ride from point A to point B. But I was thinking, when it's 90, 100 degrees, maybe I should offer water. I can get small bottles of water, put them in the fridge, and just keep a cooler. Just not in terms of, hey, I am now providing snacks in the food business, because all that stuff gets on the floor. Chocolate, gooey stuff gets accidentally dropped on the floor. It gets stamped into your floor mats. I talk about this in the ebook. And it's just not a good recipe for keeping your vehicle clean. Sorry, there's somebody behind the truck, and I wanted to see what was going on, but they're just crossing the street. So you don't want stuff ground in your seats or on the upholstery, especially when it's hot. Can you see melted chocolate all over the seat? They're not gonna tell you, or most people wouldn't. The really cool people would, but those are the people who would ask if you mind if they ate in the first place. And I think that's happened to me about once every 1,000 people. Somebody asks, is it okay if I eat in here? The rest of the time they start eating. And then I have to have a talk with them. And so, but I thought, no, I'm not getting into the snack business, but maybe it might be nice to have a little cooler with some little waters, just as a human being. When I came into work today, I bought a case of water from 7-Eleven for $3.99 for my coworkers. We're gardeners. We're outside in the heat. I saw the water. I'm like, oh, I should get this for my coworkers, just to be nice. It's a nice gesture. It's something I would want them to do for me if I didn't have water. And I thought, well, maybe I should do that for the passengers, like when it's really hot. On a normal day, no, but this is sort of a extra special occasion. In the winter, do you crank up the heat? How do you handle that? I normally carry a blanket, but in the winter, if it's snowing and you have the heat going, should you provide a blanket in the back? Hey, you can use the blanket if you're cold. That's, a possibility. Now, I would do this just out of kindness. You could also put a tip sign up just to remind people, that what a nice person you are. But I don't believe in being nice for money. I believe in being nice for the sake of being a decent human being. If people want to tip you because of that, I'm probably not going to turn it away. Everybody's different. Some people are more capitalistic than others. If you really need the money, that's kind of a different story. I think, you should keep the same morals depending on whether you're rich or you're poor. But, it's easy for me to say because I'm certainly not rich, but I'm not poor. So I leave that up to you. But it's never a bad idea to have a sign or a tip jar, just in general, just to remind people that it's okay to tip, because a lot of people don't know. Because when Uber came out, 7 years ago, it was, oh, your tip is included in the price, which is not the case. It never really was the case. They just didn't want people to have to carry cash, and they were too lazy to add it to the app function. So it's certainly okay to tip. I tip people on a lot of different things in a lot of different areas, and that was a previous vlog. But how do you feel about the weather? How do you feel about doing those things in hot weather and cold weather? Let me know. As I am dripping more and more sweat, I'm going to end this. But that's just my thought of the day is the weather. How does affect whether or not you drive? How does it affect if you offer any amenities? And how does it affect any tips that you may or may not receive? I'd love to know. Please be safe. People tend to drive differently in extreme forms of weather, which is not necessarily a good thing, but please be careful, drive safe, and I'll see you next video.